All right, good morning, everyone. Got a slightly fallen market generally. At least that's been the trend. It looks like we're starting off with an okay day. Amarin actually came up pretty big yesterday, and it looks like a nice gap this morning. Um, was some news actually. Market generally is a little bit positive. We closed out yesterday off of the lows, but it was another distribution day market. Or IBD has the market in a correction, or sorry, not a correction, but uptrend under pressure. Oh, how's this stocks? I got my SQL stuff up here. There we go. Yeah, uptrend under pressure. There you go. Acacia coming back today too. Pretty strong. Look at that. After yesterday. Look at yesterday. Yesterday was good. Talked about Acacia off the low. That looks like that would have worked really well. Acacia getting back up to highs. Match.com. Comfortable down here. Amarin 5. Goose. Tesla. Starbucks. Another new high today. Just moving on with that program. Starbucks is doing something right. China becoming a big coffee what? China's challenges in China Starbucks challenges in China shouldn't be shrugged off. That's a tough sentence to say. Tough sentence. Oh man, I was so tired yesterday. Uh, there we go. There we go. Nvidia bouncing back. Nvidia looking pretty good right here. What Skyworks look like? Living a little lower. ESNT, I was trying to get to you. You're bottoming at that 50 day. Hold on a second. All right, I'm back. Chesapeake Energy, a little bit of a down day here. Looks like we're going to touch that trend line maybe. I don't know what to do with this damn towel. There we go. Ameren, 5% today. Already pulling back quite significantly. It was up like 7 or so earlier. 8 or so earlier. We'll see if that continues or not. They did have some good news. I forget what it was. Amarin's Vascepta added to American Diabetes Association standards of care treatment recommendation. That's good. Yeah, it was late yesterday they had that announcement. Right there. From 17 to 19, pretty quick. Lots of volume stepping in there. So hopefully it'll be sustained and they'll be able to at least flatten out here for a little bit. Like I said, Acacia's starting to come back too. ESNT, Skyworks, NVIDIA. What else? Let's look at some daily movers. PVH capping up. Lululemon, probably earnings, yep. It's a nice gap for Lulu. FMCC, this looks interesting. Look at yesterday's pocket pivot. Bam, huge volume. Very nice. Over-the-counter stock. FMNA. What is that? Also over-the-counter stock. That is very odd. Wonder if they're the same stock. And Amarin's on our screen. That's good. I mean, check on these. OAS is the only thing on it. We've had OAS on here before. One of those turnaround plays here. For maybe a run up to the 200-day moving average up there. At some point. We've been pulling back nicely. Pretty tight. Volume's declining. Which is nice. NASDAQ's flat right now. 0.02. Yesterday not having a large sell day is pretty good. Hopefully we'll be able to recover out of this. Like I said earlier, the IBD has the uptrend under pressure. And back to our actionable list. Okay, EDU. Getting on with it today. We noticed the other day it was trying to move out, and you can see it pulled back quite significantly. Right there early in the morning, and then kind of floundered. We'll see if we can hold this time. It's looking pretty good. It's having higher lows all the way up, so I'm not too upset at that. But that looks pretty good. Matches back to flat. And NBEV has earnings coming up, still not moving. Tomorrow, earnings are out tomorrow before the market, so we'll see movement before the market opens. AMRN coming back down more, which is very odd. Usually when a stock rallies in the middle of the day like that, they typically won't sell off the next day. We'll see if it's just backing and filling this gap. All right, so basically we need to see what's going to happen with the market for the next, well, maybe the rest of this week, today and tomorrow. Damn it. Put a towel on my desk for my elbow and my wrist. Keeps dropping. Good morning, Paul. Nick, what's up? Yeah, so we're in wait and see mode in the market right now. If you notice the NASDAQ, so we know the NASDAQ's come up to prior breakdown point. We talk about this all the time in crypto. Getting some distribution up here is pretty normal. There's always going to be people holding bags. I mean, it's only been a few months. Actually, it's about 6 months. Look at that. Look at the yearly V. Peak here is on October 1st. And so you would think that, where would that put us? November, December. Oh, we're well past. Why does this seem like it's pretty equidistant? We got 1, 2, 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3 blocks here to here. Yeah, those are months. Oh, all of October, all of November, all of December. Okay. For some reason, I was thinking end of October. Okay. Yeah, so 3 months down, 3 months up, and we're almost back at the peak. So I drew this trend line here the other day to kind of visually represent where if we do hold a channel, this is where we could potentially fall down to. We fell down here last time, here the time before. That was our follow-through day. Boom, boom, and then maybe the test of highs another month or so. Hopefully, if we don't fall through. I mean, good volumes on the buy side here. Even better volumes on the sell side, though, unfortunately. So you can see here, as volume started to elevate, we started getting some distribution during the day. And this one was actually lower volume with a full up candle. And then, boom, we get taken down. Taken down again. Oh, we formed a little bit of a pattern here. Not much. It's brand new. I guess if you respecting all the wicks, you're doing something like that, but haven't really made too many new lows. One thing that's interesting, let's see if I can get it back. Oh yeah, it's right here. It's something I don't really pay too much attention to, but it actually makes a lot of sense. I was looking at this yesterday. So here's a chart. This is an IBD chart. Excuse me. So they have accumulation distribution, IBD 6000 accumulation distribution. You got A, B, C, D, E, and it stops at E. So, hey, what's up, Eli? 570 in A accumulation, 2700 in B accumulation, 1600 in C accumulation, D, and E. So the accumulations are positive here. You can see the accumulation distribution line here over the overlay of the S&P. You can see we have a horizontal point right there. That line, that dotted line uses a reference, if my eyes will allow me to follow it all the way across the screen. Right there. So we're already kind of above it. We're already above that accumulation distribution line from the last peak before we rolled over, which is not a bad thing. Hold on a second. So accumulation distribution getting a little more elevated, kind of flattening out here a little bit, but we're not. You see over here, we kind of had a lower high here and here. This is the ultimate high, actually. And then we started diverging here and here. And then we started making lows right here, which would have been a pretty good exit point. I haven't done that quite yet. This was yesterday, March 27th, so this is up to date. Would I consider the SPY 270? Let's go take a peek at that. Let's go look at that. What's up, Justin? Daily Tesla update. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, just put a percentage in a level. We'll be good to go. Yeah, it may be done before it gets to 270, Paul. Like I said, they have us on the cusp of correction again, and this does happen. We're at where's our list here? Where is it? I didn't look at the distribution days yesterday. Oh, come on. I hate their website. It's horrible. You click all these links that sound like they're the same thing, but they're not. There we go. 6 on NASDAQ, 7, 7 on the S&P 500. Excuse me. It's not really a level, Paul. It's we're talking about distribution days a little bit here. So there's a pretty obvious one. Man, it's a pretty obvious distribution day there. I have to duplicate it. Yeah, you suck. Distribution day yesterday, and so on and so forth. If we do end up dropping, it'll probably be around this 50-day here. We may come and test the 50-day, maybe even spike beneath it, or we'll just round back up and over. We have some higher lows here, so that's not bad. See why? And some of these softwares suck bad. So there's obviously distribution day. There's a distribution day. And there's a distribution day. And what if we have a stalling day here somewhere? That could be considered a stalling day. Which is considered a distribution day. So there's 6 of the 7. I don't know if I'd consider that a stalling day. That may be a 7th. So, yeah, 0.23. That's on the cusp of being considered a distribution day. We got that one, lower volume. So we'll call this one the 7th distribution day. So if these are our distribution days, luckily it looks like it had a flurry over on this last dip. This one hasn't been extremely aggressive, albeit except for our extremely aggressive day. I'd have to say a level probably 270, 277 maybe, if I have to pick a number. Because that's a full 2%, which is pretty big on an index. I don't know if I'd want to give it that, but if we have another big shakedown underneath these lows to 277, it'll probably end up causing another distribution day or two, which would get us down to 270. And I'd want to be out well before we get to 270. So you can see we're chopping around this pivot line here. Kind of above the 200-day moving average, which is fine. Going to have the golden cross here in a little bit. We'll see if that's another opportunity for them to sell into that thing. We talked about that one the other day, the Golden Cross. And the NASDAQ also about to happen. So a couple areas here on the NASDAQ. It's hard to trade these like a stock, though. Trade Desk coming back quite nicely. Should you sell Tesla? Let's look. I don't know. It's back up at 280. It's got a pretty definitive trend line here. Something like that. Nice reversal day on the low. That's where you bought. I don't even know if my wife's bought yet. Her and I don't communicate, so. Big sell, big sell. A little bit of buying. A little bit of buying. A little bit of buying. A little bit of buying down here at the bottoms. Then a spurt up into usually lower volume. This one had a trend line here. They got into low volume territory. Then they got aggressive with the sell again. Came back. Aggressive with the sell again. Yeah, I'd put your stop at around 250 on Tesla. I mean, that's the level we've been looking at. We've spiked down here at 247, 246, maybe 245. Hey, what's up, Ted? Yeah, Winnebago's been looking pretty good, actually. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. How you doing, buddy? I figured you needed a break, so I wouldn't bug you. Yeah, we talked a little bit about this the other day, as a matter of fact. That earnings there didn't really drop off very much, which is good. So, nice. Big orders coming up. That's great. You gonna be delivering again? All right. So a little bit of insider info there on Winnebago, if you guys want to take advantage of that. Well, that's good, Ted. I don't know. You kind of walked away without saying much, so I figured I'd give you your space, my friend. Oh, they've got a new management team? That would be the N in CanSlim for us. That's the new. That's part of CanSlim. The N is new product, new industry, new management. Winnebago management. Michael J. Happy. Toro's residential contractor businesses. He's been there for 3 years, it looks like. Another guy since June of 2016. A girl since 2018. Another guy since doesn't say when. And another guy doesn't say when. Another guy 2016. 2001. Oh, no, it's with a different company. Everyone, fold your arms before you take this picture. Well, the girl didn't do it, though. Only one girl. That's okay. And some younger white guys. So that's good, too. Chief Information Officer, 60 years old. I think he's the oldest guy. Their CIO is the oldest guy. That's funny. I think he'd be the CFO. Oh, is it Westinghouse? Oh, okay. That's cool. Good credentials there. Probably uses lots of Cisco. All right, so they're in full swing. That's good. We've got a pretty young management, 47 for the CEO. That's really good for that guy. Their profits still held, and that's good. Cool. Yeah, Winnebago, yeah, it doesn't look bad at all. I mean, even technically, you can see off the lows. We had a little base right there, poked out, pulling back. After earnings, we're holding up pretty well, so we're good to go. No, I know they can. I'm simply saying the oldest guy is the IT guy. I think that's kind of funny. Like 48, 46, 50. This guy doesn't give his age, but he's not that old. 53, 54. Another guy doesn't give his age. Woman's 55, 56, and 47. The CEO is the youngest by a year. Oh, no, he's the second youngest. Well, good for them. That's cool. Winnebago. There you go. There's your tip of the day. Well, let's see if we can play them for one of those longer options trades that worked out really well for me. It's basically double going up. It's going to take a little bit to get there. A lot of work. And 91% up. All right, let's take a look around. We'll come back. Put Winnebago on my actionable list. CGC getting hit today. Man, filling out that triangle, not the best thing there. Yeah, I know, Paul. It's crazy, man. Like, I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 in a couple months, actually. I don't know. I'd probably say my generation was the first to really grow up with the full internet. But yeah, those Apple II computers and stuff, sure. Ooh, alert on AVGO. Crossed a little threshold right there. See if it can continue there. Hi, James. Acacia, new highs, guys. Wow, that was a whipsaw right there. You okay? There you go. What happened? Hold on. All right. Acacia, 7%, very nice. Is Amarin coming back a little bit? Nah, they're kind of pausing down here. Filling out this trend line, however, in a really quick fashion. Trade Desk Maybe an interesting buy down at these levels. Only been down here a couple of times. Some pretty good distribution, which is a little abnormal for stocks that are running like that. Basically 2 weeks now. This would be week 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this was Friday, which made it a down week. So they can cheat a little bit. Go down only on Friday. Gives you a down week. All right, boot. We noticed the health in boot lately. It's been working really good. Tandem bouncing off of lows. EDU going into recent highs. Fox we've been looking at recently, curling in nicely, forming a little shelf. This is a beautiful little pattern. Some distribution there, some distribution there, but look where it closed yesterday. Closed pretty high up in the range. Volume was good towards the end of the day. Looks like they used it to sell, unfortunately. So we'll see how that goes. Fox getting close to new highs. We're looking at this for a larger cup, potentially with a handle pattern. There's Winnebago, which is actually looks like it's getting with it this morning. Getting close to it's over the trend line over here. So that's pretty good. Yesterday's volume wasn't great, kind of within trend. We're looking for trend to shift. This would be the first day if it closes, and it should close up. That'd be good for Winnebago. This could be a good day to maybe take a position there. Ted's got some good news. Ted is not an insider, but he actually works closely with Winnebago. So if you guys are wondering why Ted's telling us some information. So shouldn't be any insider trading stuff going on there, but it's pretty close, and I'll take pretty close. So like that for Winnebago. Yeah, Ted. I mean, for you, buddy, I'd probably play this one. I mean, for sure. I'm looking at a trade. It's actually pretty good. Yeah. So if you got a little bit of insider info on that one, I would try to keep that pipeline coming, if you will, and definitely try to trade off of that. Just need a little bit of elevated volume to get us going, but it looks like earnings kind of stopped the bleeding a little bit. You can see since the last earnings report, that's where we bottomed. I'm not sure what they said in that last earnings report, but it's led to a nice rally. Up 65% from the lows. And so now we're consolidating again. Have earnings right here. And they're not really showing their hand, but they're starting to show it here where they're not letting it drop. Yeah, Justin MJ stocks down the past few days. We noticed that with CGC. CGC right here has been kind of taking a bath. I think Cron did something similar. Yep. Cron kind of rounded over there. You see that curl down. We kind of talked a little bit. We talked about that with crypto. There's those little curls. We've caught some decent shorts off of those during the bear market. And, earnings. What happened on earnings? They didn't do earnings or what? I don't know. Let's look at MJ. Oh, MJ took a little bath too. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, we were down here, and then yesterday was the down day. And slightly elevated volume, kind of still within trend. Nothing too bad. And I'll say this, Ted. There's been a lot of good stock trades based off of that kind of information. A lot. Most people do what I do and sit behind a desk and never look at the real world. Speaking of which, let's open my window this morning. Beautiful blue sunny day here in Arizona. But yeah, so just going in and looking at merchants and talking to merchants, there's just been a lot of really good trades that can give you confidence and keep you in or get you out of something. Like I mentioned to you guys a while back about here, And I was in a GameStop, and I asked about those headphones, and they said, yeah, they're not doing so well, and we've been forming this flat little base thing, and then we just fall apart on earnings. I don't know why. I wasn't really involved in the call, but it kind of kept me out of the stock, to be honest with you. Otherwise, it was looking okay, and I probably would have been ready to buy it. May not have bought it, but may have tried to take one right there and getting shaken out like everybody else. But because of that information, I was a little more hesitant. So, yeah, Eli talked about Goose and how he thinks maybe a one-hit wonder. He's in New York, and so he's got a little bit of insight there. So, yeah, all these retail companies are actually, I read an article about that years ago, about how you just if you're interested in a stock, just go visit the place. Just go visit it, you know. NASDAQ, 0.5%. Pretty good. Here's coming back today nicely. Acacia continuing. I guess pausing. But I'll take up 7%. Amarin, holding here the lows so far. We'll see if we get another leg lower. EDU still going. That thing's gone. That could be an interesting bottoming trade if you're interested in that one. Tandem, also off of the gap low, right there. It's not coming through it, but it's bouncing off of it, which is a good sign. Talked about Fox already. Boot, we've been talking about Boot the past few days. We noticed as the market was pretty red, Boot was actually one of the few that was neutral or green in some instances. Slightly increasing volume here is pretty decent. Winnebago again. C-Trip also, we noticed this one yesterday. It was elevating off of that trend line today, looking like it's continuing. Good volumes too. Look at that pocket pivot yesterday. Right there, beautiful volume. Bigger than any down day in the past 9 days. And so that could be an early indication sign. C-Trip also coming up to this longer term trend line on the weekly chart. So doing quite a few things correct. NVIDIA was next. NVIDIA looking good, consolidating this here. We were kind of ramping up, pulled in. Now we're consolidating. Looks like the little bit of a flag, whatever you want to call this, is forming, and a little poke out could get you interested. Within a few days, could be into recent highs here. Workday holding up very nicely above that 50-day moving average. FTNT bouncing off of that 50-day moving average a little bit. Hack's okay. Match, is it coming back? Hopefully it starts bouncing back. Was looking really good there until like one day. It was one day that Match just... Or no, that was the other stock. Match had a sequence of a little downtrend, nothing major. Just going with the market. Skyworks. I think this is the one that had the one down day right there. Had a really good up day, immediately followed by a pretty good down day. Kind of riding the bottom of this trend line here, which this is a long trend line, so I don't know if this is the exact position it will be in as it gets down here, but holding pretty good. TTMI also with a little declining trend line. O'Reilly doing pretty good. I'm not mad at an NVIDIA trade. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I'm really not mad at all at an NVIDIA trade right here. Volume's declining. We're kind of tightening up. And so this tightening only happens for so long before it pokes in one direction or another. Right now, it appears we're going to get elevated. You see volume here today. I would argue is a little higher than yesterday's. Maybe equal because we don't have that morning pop. But it looks like we're trying to bust out of this. And that's a wrong line. and depending how you want to draw that. But anyway, you can see there's a definite trend here. If that'll get a nice upswing, that would be good. O'Reilly also poking into towards highs. Not quite to the old-time highs there, but we have been just slowly picking our way higher here. Noticing that one the past couple of weeks. Not affected much at all by this drop in the market. If you notice, it has the inverse trend to the NASDAQ currently for the past 5 days. So O'Reilly showing some overt strength to the NASDAQ and the S&P. GMAD, we talked about this cup for a while here. This little handle broke out the other day. Yesterday was a nice shakeout day. You can see this whole drop didn't really happen on much volume, even on the daily chart here. You can see the volume was under average and under the previous days. So that could just be a shakeout attempt. Take-Two Interactive, this one, watching it, but nothing looks super actionable yet. You can see how it is also declining kind of with the market. Actually, those days look pretty much exactly like the market except for today. The market's looking a little bit better. So we'll see. We'll see how this one plays out. Maybe entrance if this one tries to turn around and see some elevated buying volume in the lower term time frames. ESNT, we noted this was a pretty good stock. Tried to break out of a double bottom pattern right there, and just gave it all up. Really gave it all up and quickly. So being respectful at the 50-day moving average, though, this golden cross happened right there. It looks like respectful at the 50. So maybe we'll get a nice bounce out of this area. Your stop, I think, at this point would be the 50-day moving average. And Bev, Chesapeake coming into that other trend line again. INS holding higher here pretty good. Had a big selling day the other day. So far, some tight closes up here. And CGC, another one on our watch list. Looks like it's bottoming so far, but we're only 45 minutes into the trading session. I'll keep CGC up here just to keep it on the watch list for the MJ sector. Yeah, James. Hard to say no to your kid all the time. No, 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 no. All right, what's up here? FIVE. Top of our global watch list. Double bottom. Looks like that's our breakout point. We had earnings yesterday. And so today, right? 327. Okay. So they met or beat. Looks like they're having okay reactions. The volume's already pretty heavy if this is going to be another breakout attempt. This would have already broken a sell rule once right there. Doesn't mean the end of the world for a stock by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of stocks that come back and break out a second time do have things do work out okay. But I think under this stage, your breakout point would technically be here on a second go. This 134 whatever level. The high is 133.65, so 133.75 would be technically be your breakout level. This went up 7% though today on earnings, so that's nice. And it's pulled back a little bit. Looks like it's trying to get on with it. So good stuff there with FIVE. Acacia, which is on our short list. Amarin, also on our short list. MDCO. Trade Desk, which is also on our short list. Goose. Not very intriguing. What's up, James?
Am I going to daycare today?
James running in here every 5 minutes. Sorry about that. Ouya, hooya, however you call this. Remember we were way down here? Now we're way up here, 45%. Thoughts on SQ? Well, I don't see it up here. Yeah, so SQ's been, looks like it's finding some support at the 50-day moving average right there. Had a golden cross right there. Or that's the 200-day moving average. It's okay. It's not my favorite. There's other payment stocks that are behaving better than Square. That ESNT, that is a payment stock. Wherever it is today, right there, ESNT. That's a payment stock. PayPal, I think, is towards highs. Into highs. So you definitely, Square would be a laggard and not a leader in this particular segment or sector. It would be a laggard. You see PayPal getting on with business right there. Cup with a interesting handle, and then off to the races, already up 10% for PayPal. Not even getting back to this trend line during this little consolidation. Showing relative strength to the market is PayPal. Square, not so much. You can see here recently it's had a bit more distribution, I think, than most people would like. Finding some support. We'll see if it can rally back through with the rest of the sector. There's a couple of reports out a while ago, if you guys remember, about Square kind of reaching peak growth already. This one's saying Square will keep soaring on its strong growth, says Barron's, but I heard counter to that a little bit ago. Peak growth. Well, I've definitely reached my peak growth. I'm just trying to maintain something close to that. I'm good with audio video in about 2 years, and programming has taken me longer to figure that out. That's for damn sure. No, there wasn't. It was a while ago. Yeah, here's the one. Raymond James on Square also doesn't see another instant deposit. Here you go. Organic growth peaked in Q3 or Q4 of 2018. So stock is downgraded on worry over slowing growth. I think that's been kind of the impetus. Or 4-year-olds, well, they're definitely peak growth. I know what you're saying. I'm not talking about peak growth, but I'm saying 4-year-olds are peak growth. Yeah, I'm trying not to be like that. I try not to bug people with my issues. I try to figure them out for the most part myself until my head explodes. My head was exploding yesterday. I ranted to Eli a little bit yesterday. Peaked it. I think I peaked at about 7. I'll give it 7. Yeah, 4 is a good age, man. I like 3, 4, 5. Probably some of my most favorite ages. Luckily, James is going to be 5, so I still have a little bit of good stuff. Anyway. NVIDIA Match.com up 1%. Looks like it's bouncing back a little bit more. Justin, 2s aren't terrible at all, buddy. Don't let anyone tell you that. At least not for me. I don't know. I'm all about my kids, though, so I don't know, man. The 2s aren't that bad. The 2s are actually really good. I like the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s. I like it all. Kids are awesome. NVIDIA poking up, starting to try and poke up. If you kind of, I think what I'm seeing on NVIDIA is these 2 points. I think that's what I'm looking at when I eyeball it. I didn't draw it earlier for some reason. I wanted to encapsulate this one, but maybe that's what I'm seeing, and just trying to barely cross through that right now. I think earlier we were kind of sitting right on the line, maybe a little bit above it. Now we're kind of above it a little more so. And again, like I said, I think the volume may be even with yesterday because of that peak volume at the very beginning. Other than that, think we're sustaining a little bit better than we were yesterday. So NVIDIA, yeah, I'm not really mad at an NVIDIA trade. You could take an entry position, then layer in one or two more times if you want to do that. INS down 2.85% currently. That dropped into the negative. Trade Desk 4.5% bouncing. We talked about that one. It's about 2.5% buying kind of down here. Still probably could buy that. Even just to play up there to 214 gives you that's 11% right there. That's not too bad. Going back to this horizontal point at 210. That's not bad. And that shouldn't happen, I mean, maybe 20 days or so. Maybe. Ideally. So a little bit strong distribution here, but we'll see if it'll bounce out of there. This trend line may be a little disingenuous. Yeah, pretty much taking over most of yesterday's range. A little bit more, it'll be over the highs of yesterday. And already getting there. Already getting there, guys. So market doing good things, up 0.4%. Looks like we're trying to challenge that trend line, which actually is drawn a little high. So NASDAQ trying to get back with it. You expect a few pullbacks in the market here and there. That's kind of what this one, a little bit. We talked about that on this day before the breakdown about kind of market peaking every 20 days or 24 days or whatever it was. And we ended up getting that. Although we haven't really dropped very far. We're pretty much equal with that day right there. Closed about the same range there. Closed the same range there. Undercut yesterday. Well, we bounced back okay. And now we're continuing. Trade Desk right there. Boom. Going on with the program. That's not bad at all. Acacia, top of the boards here still. FIVE, AMRN, curling up back a little bit. Let's hope we get more of that. And there's Trade Desk again. I like this Trade Desk trade right there off that bottom. We're a little elevated, but it's, like I said, probably now about 10% to right there. That's a nice little trade right there. Within a trend, I'll take 10% within a trend. 3 attempts at the low so far. That seems like a fairly low risk-reward trade. The only problem here is this volume down here, but it has to get down here somehow. So they're probably just taking some profits. They don't want to get it too far below the 180 level. So they pause their selling, let it get back up again, and then maybe it'll drop back down. All right, on that bombshell, I think I'm going to head out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get out of here. NASDAQ pulling in a little bit, 0.3%. Just dropped 0.1%. Yeah. Maybe pause on positions here. Who knows? The NASDAQ's going to pull in pretty hard. Don't want that to happen. 0.26%, 0.25%. Let's see what happens here. All right, guys, I'm going to bounce. Let's see if the Nasdaq's going to hold a positive day today. Ideally, I mean, I'd like to close over, the higher the better. Obviously, we'll see if we're gonna get that or not. We'll have to see there. So, but yeah, Acacia, Ameren doing pretty good. Trade desk here with a nice little trade on the table. A little bit of risk here. It is up 4.5% from the lows. That would probably be about your risk too. If this thing caves on elevated volume, I would probably consider exiting that one. Maybe the selling will return. Other than that, it's looking okay. Nvidia also looking pretty good. If the market's going to hold up, then these stocks will probably have some good rallies that we have on our actionable list here. So, all right, take a look at those guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.